What's up, my beautiful Dreamfasters? It is Danny Gallows, of course, who'd you think it was, and welcome back to another glorious, brand new movie review. So, this is my first official video of 2022 on this channel, and I hope you guys are all having an awesome new year so far. I was hoping to have an amazing start to the new year myself, but unfortunately, I just saw The Matrix Resurrections. New year, new Matrix. Nah. No! Now, first and foremost, The Matrix is another one of those films that had a huge impact on my childhood. And not really my childhood, because I was entering into freshman year of high school at the time. But again, it was those very, formative years, right? And The Matrix was a revolutionary sci-fi film at the time because it reimagined what we knew and what we expected for sci-fi films and action films at that time. And it had such an impact on me and my friends and so many kids at my school that some kids at my school actually started wearing trench coats, and if you had the DVD of The Matrix, man, everybody was over at your house every weekend watching that movie. So needless to say, I had very, very high expectations for this film. So The Matrix reimaginings, regurgitations, resurrections, I really thought was going to be, or it might have the chance to be, one of those rare return to form movies that actually got an old school sequel right. But unfortunately, man, was I wrong, because this movie was pretty bad. And, honestly, I could tell this from the trailer itself. I remember, a couple of days after the trailer came out, I finally had a chance to watch it. And while I was watching the trailer, everything looked cool, but it just didn't feel right to me. I remember sitting there watching it just being like, this doesn't feel right. Something feels very, very off here about this trailer. It didn't feel like the original film. It felt like someone trying to do their own version of The Matrix. Like if another filmmaker had picked up this property and was trying to make their own version of the original Matrix or something. And it just didn't feel right to me. And unfortunately, that's exactly what this was. My main problem with the film is that it really just does too much rehashing of original storylines and plot lines and elements from the original movie. Instead of focusing on new things and new ideas, they're too focused on what happened in the past and kind of rearranging everything as you know it. And what happens is it makes the storylines and the overall execution of the film extremely convoluted. A lot of the characters don't work. Neil Patrick Harris as the main villain, why? Why? It just doesn't work. There's a reason that they cast Hugo Weaving as Mr. Smith in the first movie, because he has that class and that elegance, that composure, right, to his performance. It's very, very amazing what he does with that character, and so fitting for that character. But, a lot of characters in this movie, they just don't feel right. And what happens is it makes everything in the movie just feel off, so that it almost feels like it's not The Matrix, it's something that is like The Matrix, right? But it's a new film. It's a new film, but not in a good way, right? We wanted something that mirrored the original movie, that was in line, that could fall in line with what all those elements that the original movie did such a good job producing. With this film, it feels like a brand new property altogether, maybe a movie that shouldn't be called The Matrix. It should have just been called something else, and they should have gone in a new direction, or maybe made it in a separate universe or something, I don't know, but it doesn't feel like the original Matrix at all. And what's interesting is that the film actually didn't start out like that at all. I remember for like the first half hour of the movie, I was like, wow, this is actually pretty good. I was really invested in it, and I was like, where are all these negative reviews coming from? Like, this is awesome. This is great. But then around 45 minutes or so into the movie, it just gradually starts to go downhill. And you think it's maybe going downhill for just a minute, it's going to pick itself back up, and no, it just keeps going and going and going and going until, bam, it hits rock bottom, and whew. You know what this movie reminded me of? This movie reminded me of Jupiter Ascending. I had the exact same experience with Jupiter Ascending because, I actually loved the introduction and the story setup for Jupiter Ascending, and that first action sequence in the movie is absolutely incredible. And I'm like, okay, this film is awesome. Again, like, why does everybody hate this film? This is awesome. And then right after that opening action sequence, it just takes a nosedive. Same thing. I mean, is this like a thing with the Wachowskis? And you know, that's the thing. As much as I'm trashing on this film, one thing about this film that's actually very, very good are the action sequences. All of the action sequences, not just at the beginning or a big finale at the end or something like that, but all of the action sequences throughout the movie are actually very, very well directed and very well executed. And that's one thing the Wachowskis have always done well. They have always known how to masterfully direct action sequences, but unfortunately, there's just no substance to anything they do anymore. But the action is very good, a lot of people will enjoy it, and that's one thing that does save this movie a little bit from being a complete disaster. But still not enough to save it from a poor score. So what am I going to give Matrix Resurrections? We'll go with a nice fat 40%. Yeah, you know, I didn't hate the film, but it is in no way, shape, or form even good or mediocre. You know, it's very poorly executed, and it is frequently insulting to old school fans. And this is a trope that really needs to stop with modern movies. I really, really sincerely hope that we move past this kind of filmmaking in the future and go back to a return to form, you know. Alright my friends, well that's enough blathering from yours truly for right now. So now it's time for you guys to leave all of your thoughts and opinions down below in the Great White Void. Do you guys agree with me? Did you see the film? Did you think it was horrible? Or do you think, no man, you're completely insane, this movie was at least good, right? We all have different opinions about everything. That's what makes everyone and everything great. So go ahead and leave all your thoughts and opinions down below. Let me hear what you guys thought about The Matrix Resurrections. And I'll see you guys back here for the next movie review very soon. Peace.